Hello and welcome to episode 2. It's the same day as episode 1, but we had so much fun with episode 1 that we decided we would do some more.
We're on a roll.
We are on a roll. So this is the Thelma and Shannon show. I'm Shannon.
I'm Thelma.
And so every single time we have an episode, which episode could be used in so many ways, but an episode for the show. Every time that we have an episode for the show, Thelma and I take just a moment before we hit live to just see, feel, listen for what it's meant to be, what the episode is meant to be. Mm-hmm. And so this one, Thelma's a little uneasy about it, but she's a very willing participant. All I saw was an apple. That's it. So I'm very intuitive. We're both very intuitive, but we both asked, what is the topic meant to be for this next episode? Thelma didn't say anything. I saw an apple. So that's what we're going with. And we're just going to take it from there.
Okay.
So are you game?
I'm game.
Okay. Atta girl. It's so fun. It's so fun. This is how I roll.
And I'm getting better at it.
Yes,
I'm getting better. Okay.
You are.
Well,
willingness is the first step.
Yes. So, apple.
So what does an apple mean to you?
Well, an apple means food, because I do like food. Mm-hmm. I like apples. Apples are Canadian.
Yeah.
Apples are... the first thing, if you ask what the letter A means, it's apple.
What emotion do you feel apple would represent?
Apples make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Apples are happy. So keep going and I'll bounce off you.
Well, for me, when I think of apple, I think of school.
Okay.
I think of Snow White, because the witchy witch put the poison in the apple, so sometimes apples can be deceiving.
True.
Right? I also think of like a ruler and getting like, again, school. It's like getting like the olden days of when kids kind of got treated differently than they do now at school. And apple pie also, I have so many fond memories of apple pie and people in my life that make absolutely fantastic apple pie. I do not. I don't want to even try to duplicate what they know how to create. But apples make me think of apple pie. And so, I'm getting a little rowdy here. So the question for you is, like, when you think of an apple, what do you think of? What memories do you have? What thoughts do you have? For me, apples also are happy, even though I have, like, the witch in the Snow White and, like, getting slapped by rulers at school. But an apple itself, without external influence, feels very happy to me.
It does, yes.
And very, actually, strong. They're a strong fruit.
Yes, well, they do live in Canada.
It's true. It's true.
They...
you got to be hardy to live in Canada.
That's right.
Definitely.
I, too, have very good memories of apple pie. My husband's family, they had an apple tree in their yard.
Oh, homemade, like homegrown apple pie is so good.
My mother-in-law's apple pie was very good, so... To be honest, I didn't even try, really, to make apple pie.
Like, you also were like me, where you're like, I know, I'm not going to bother because it's already so good.
It's been done so well. I just...
Like, why reinvent the wheel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a question. Here's a philosophical question, because, like, I like to get philosophical as soon as possible, basically. But, like... So I don't see my family members that make extraordinary apple pie. There's one on each side. Like, there's one on my side and there's one on my partner's side of the family. But I hardly see them. So I really don't get apple pie very often at all. And I've tried store-bought apple pie and it's not the same. So the philosophical side of me is like, well, Thelma, how often do you get apple pie?
Well,
and is it worth it to go that long without it when you love it so much?
It's true. There's some things that are incomparable. So my mother-in-law's apple pie happens to be one of them.
But
she's gone.
Yeah.
The other thing was my mom's cinnamon buns.
Oh my gosh.
They are
so true.
Well, out of this world. They were. And we've all tried to recreate them, and they've all been really good because we know where that comes from.
And you have the recipe.
Well, we have a guideline.
Well, it's true. It's true.
But I think what so much of that is not, it's not even about the apple pie anymore.
No.
It's about the relationship, and it's about
are there memories attached?
There are, like coming home from school and getting off the bus. You could honestly smell the cinnamon bun from the driveway. So you'd run home to get your cinnamon bun. Mm-hmm. And same with the apple pie. I mean, it was dessert on Sunday. It was a special invitation. It was made for us. Yeah. So I think that attention to something that we liked speaks higher than the apple pie.
Yeah. And it's almost like, for me, like, I don't even want to try to make some of these things, or I have tried and it has not turned out. And so it's like there's this level, there's a standard that's been set.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about apple pie right now, but use this analogy for whatever in your life is relevant in whatever other category is relevant, because I already can see how relevant this topic is for so many things in life. It's like, well, the standard has been set, the tradition is there, I can't even attempt to do something that, like, to recreate something, and it's like, so we go without.
I know, and
right?
What words come to me is that I don't want to challenge that norm. I don't want to challenge that
the standard
or even something that has gone beyond an actual experience, and everyone has that as a memory.
Yeah. And
so it's far away from the actual apple pie, or in my case, cinnamon bun.
Well, I think you got apple pie and cinnamon bun going on, which I do. Ironically enough, I also have cinnamon bun action, the standard as well. Like, of course, you would name cinnamon bun because that's, of course, another, like, parallel mirror between our two lives.
We did not choose what we were going to wear. We both showed up in pink. So, apple pie, cinnamon buns, and pink.
Pink shirt.
But I think that for so many topics that we talk about, there seems to be an icon or a representation or
a
symbolism in something.
And analogy.
So then the ability to talk about what that apple pie meant. And I know when I visit family and they make something special like apple pie or pumpkin pie or lemon meringue pie, I know it's more than the pie. It's that I'm glad you came, you're important to me, and this is how I show that I love people.
Yeah.
So
how come you don't make your own apple pies and cinnamon buns to show your love for the people that come to see you?
I'm not much of a baker.
You make quiche, or you'll make an omelet, or
I make amazing soups. I make amazing.
Definitely.
I will try anything once to cook, and some have turned out really, really well, and others not so much. But I do like to cook. But desserts take Desserts are chemistry.
I feel like, so when my kids were really little, do you know the Little Critter books? Was that your...
Yeah.
Okay. So the Little Critter books, there's there's quite a few of the books that they're baking something. But in this book, the little critter was with his grandma and grandpa. They were spending the day together. And I think they were making some kind of pie. And it just talked about like, oh, all the ingredients, but the extra ingredient that makes it taste the best is the love. And I was like, no wonder my stuff doesn't taste as good, because I'm not putting enough love in it. But like the grandmas always, like there's so much love in what they do, and they're doing it from love and not because it's like, I gotta bake this freaking dessert and whatever. And which is kind of sometimes the approach that I take to things that I feel like I should be doing or I have to do. I don't put a lot of love into it. It's more obligation.
You're being shoulded.
Yeah, I'm being shoulded because it's like I feel like I should.
Yes.
But when people don't come from that space with what they're doing, and they come from that joy and that giving and the love that they put into what they're doing, I swear it tastes 10 times better. And like, I've tried to make my mom's buns, and yeah, like she had a recipe, which is more like a guideline, but like my buns don't turn out like her buns. And I just feel that like I don't have the right chemical combination of love mixed with flour, mixed with whatever. Or it's so interesting. And the crazy thing is like my grandma was an amazing bun maker.
Okay.
And my mom got her recipe from my grandma, but my mom's buns taste nothing like my grandma's buns, and it's the same recipe. Both were equally delicious. But it's just that like, and so I think I remember my mom saying like, don't worry that your buns don't turn out the same or taste the same as mine do. Like, the important thing is to make buns. And I think...
And make your own buns.
Yeah, make my own damn buns, but I don't. Yeah. I just go without, basically, until we see the people that make good pies and good buns. But I just, for life, I feel that, like, sometimes we just don't even, it's like we don't even want to try something, or we don't even want to go out on a limb to do something, or we do try something and it's not the same as someone else's, and then we just give up, and it's like, well, I don't want to do this because it doesn't taste the same, and it's not as good, or the standard, I have not met the standard. But then we go without, and then we're almost like missing out because we're going without. And it's not even that like you want to recreate your mother-in-law's apple pie or your mom's cinnamon buns, but it's almost like, you know, I think sometimes we don't do stuff because we feel like it would be disrespectful, or it's not honoring the person that did it first. This could even relate to work stuff, right? Like, how many times do people avoid changing anything at work because they're like, well, that would be disrespectful to the person that created it? Do you kind of see where I'm going? I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of things coming up. Like I said, there's the notion that we like to do things for other people, and baking is one of them. So that's one theme. The other theme is that if we can't do it perfectly, then it's not worth doing. And
we suffer and we go without.
And we don't have pie.
That's right. Cinnamon buns are so good.
They are. Yeah. And
there has to be another way.
I have a rant. I have to say.
Oh, a rant on episode 2.
Cinnamon buns should not be made with whole wheat flour.
No, they should not.
I know.
You're right.
I know. Whole wheat flour is much healthier. Cinnamon buns need white flour.
Okay, and what's your opinion on raisins?
Raisins go in rice pudding.
No! Well, yes.
Yeah, well,
I'm a raisin. I am a raisin. Everything, like anything, like bran muffins need raisins.
Okay, well,
carrot muffins need raisins.
Yes, they do. But on cinnamon buns, with the combination of butter and sugar, quite often the raisins burn.
On the outside,
On the outside.
yes, but the insides, it's like they're delicious on the inside.
That's not the recipe. No, my mom didn't use raisins.
She didn't, and my mom always did. So it's kind of funny.
Okay, well now
we can meet in the middle on that.
I think about trying raisins.
You don't even have to try it. I feel just be open to the notion that other people love raisins in their cinnamon buns, and that's okay. You don't have to try to force yourself.
Okay.
Right? You don't have to force yourself. It's okay to stick with what you love, but just be open to the notion that other people...
There are other ways.
Yes, that there are other ways. Exactly.
True. So there, like I said, again, so that's another theme. There are many ways to make things. I prefer them made with white flour.
And no raisins?
And no raisins. Shannon likes raisins. But we agree on the white flour.
Yes.
So I think that when we were setting this video up, it's the second one, so we're a work in progress, just like humans are. But I think I said, well, I don't do perfect. And I think that kind of leads into this conversation, because if we can't have
some wiggle room.
No, but what you're saying is, well, my mother-in-law and my mom are gone, so I can't have their apple pie or cinnamon buns. So am I never going to have them? Well, I can accept that, yeah, it's not theirs, but there are very good cinnamon buns and there are very good apple pies out there. So should I choose to have that, I can enjoy it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And there isn't only one measurement for a life well lived, a pie well made, or buns raised. There is just not one definition. And I think that we get stuck into believing that there's one way. And
there's only one way to make buns.
Well,
there's only one way to make sense. But we do. I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's very wise, Thelma. Very wise.
Thank you.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, I thought my life had to look a certain way. And I thought that, I had to look and be a certain way. And the truth is, I just didn't really fit into either of those molds. And I was the renegade cinnamon bun that wanted to jump out of the pan, or I was the apple that just needed to bubble out of the pie, right? It's just I just couldn't conform into that. But what if it's okay?
It is okay. And I mean, part of the beauty of life is when you meet people that aren't conforming, because
it's so fun.
It is. And when people are, no, I'm not going to use people, I'm going to say myself. When I'm rigidly following a plan to perfection, it's not good. Because I'm
or you go without.
You go without, and you restrict yourself so much that the product that you put out doesn't have any part of you. It doesn't have any of your heart. And there's no love in it. There's no love. So it's if we wanted to make perfect buns that fit in this little mold because it has to be a certain percentage of a plate, well, yeah, that doesn't work for me.
It just seems very generic and very it doesn't contain... It's the vibe. It's right. It has an empty vibe to it because it's just conformist, cookie cutter. There's no personality to it. There's no uniqueness. It's just every single bun looks exactly the same in the same pan with the same exact recipe of the same exact ingredients. And to me, variety is the spice of life. 100%. Variety is the spice of life. And it just, I just see, how my grandma used the recipe for buns, and hers were awesome, and they had their own flavor, and they had their own texture, and they had their own personality. my mom, same recipe. Hers had a totally different texture and a totally different flavor. And like, that's what was awesome about it. And then here's me. It's like, I'm not even going to try because I can't make it the same as my grandma or my mom. And it's like I never even gave myself a chance because I felt like I couldn't keep up to the standard that they had set because it was so damn good.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So
that's why bought stuff never tastes as good as homemade stuff too.
No.
You know?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
And that's why like everything that's the same as everything else just doesn't feel as good in life as something that's original. And like we're very original. Yes.
Yeah, I think we're original. But so I think that goes back to when we established the Thelma and Shannon show.
Yes.
We said that we wanted to be in the moment and be spontaneous and talk about apples. And I have to say, when Shannon said apples, I thought, okay, well, I will think about apples then. And so it created a discomfort in me because I didn't have a script. I didn't want to sound off the wall. You know, you kind of...
She wants to look professional.
I am a grandma. I have to say that.
I'm only a mom. My kids are like, well, mom's gonna do what mom's gonna do. Like
I couldn't have been a grandma without being a mom.
It's true. No, but I think. Do you think that you worry more about what your grandkids think of you than what your kids thought of you?
I do, because of the stage of life when I was a mother. I was actively establishing my career. I was trying to excel at work, trying to, you know, be in a marriage, be in a family, be in an extended family. Be
everything to everyone.
Be in a community. And now, I would say, because I'm retired and...
Like, do you kind of feel like you should have your shit together? But it was okay to not have it?
If not now, when... You're right. I
don't know, because I do feel like at the phase of life that I'm in, it's almost expected that I don't totally have my shit together because we're running constantly with the kids and like we're both like busy with work and life and like there's a lot going on all the time. So it's almost like, well, during my phase, it's okay that I don't totally have my shit together, but I'm just curious, like, do you feel that now that you're at the phase of life that you're at, do you feel like you're supposed to have all your shit together and, like, present, like, be, like, a wise human being to your grandkids? And
No? Okay. No, because what grandkids do is give you the opportunity to learn with them and see things through their eyes.
Okay.
So, actually, I think I pretended to have it all together a long time ago, and I got over that because I did not have it together.
Yeah. Just like I'm willingly admitting that, like, I don't
Yeah.
have it together. Nope.
No. So.
Okay. So you're.
Well, we're getting right into it.
We are. Yeah. So when you say, like, now that you have grandkids, something about that is different than when you had kids, like, what would you say is the different thing? And what in the hell even sparked us to be talking about? Because what was
my grandkids like apples. And, you know, if given the platform to talk about my grandkids, I will.
Yes.
But
no, this is more just, like, your dynamic with, like, how you view yourself or how you view who you are now.
I think a lot of parenting children, for myself, all the baggage that I brought as a mother, I wasn't able to see until I saw it in my children.
Yeah, once they got a bit older.
Yeah. And I maybe didn't know what to do with that. And again, like you said, that stage of your life is so incredibly jam-packed.
It's intense. Like, it's definitely...
So I think the privilege of getting older and seeing things through a different lens and different glasses, I see where I had major learning. Some of it on time, some of it not too on time. But
a little late for the bus sometimes.
Little bit late. But with my grandkids, I have the opportunity to just be with them.
Yeah.
I don't have to, run after work and make sure to get new shoes because
which we had to do the other day.
And I mean it takes time to do all those errands. Or I can, if I have the kids and I see something, I'll say to their parents, this is what I saw, and they're the ones that'll take them to the doctor or deal with it. Or so I mean, I do usually try my little magic potions, but I'm helping. I'm not the major caregiver, so it's such a unique spot.
Well, and you've been through all of it with your own kids already, whereas I feel like the position I'm in, it's like, okay, well, like, I didn't remember being 2 or 3 or like bits and pieces about being 5 even, but like my kids are at the age where I can still remember being around their age, but it's still, they're not me. They don't have the same life that I had. They're different people. They're like, and so it is such a big learning curve as parents raising kids, because like I felt like, I'm still trying to figure myself out. And then you add kids, your own kids, and then you're trying to like figure them out and make sure that like you're giving them what they need and
or what you think
they need, which isn't actually what they need. And so it is a unique position as a grandparent that if you choose, because it's still a choice, right?
Yeah.
If you choose to be kind of to have learned from your own life, but also your kids' life, and now you're getting a crack at it with your grandkids to like, if you choose to learn from your past, you can do different and make like those adjustments and those improvements or those tweaks with the grandkids that you never really were able to as a parent.
Yeah.
Or even as like yourself growing up.
Yeah. And the thing too is I am now at an age where I understand what my mom was going through when I was a young mother and she was in that position, because there was times when I didn't agree with her and we had conflict. Yeah. So now, and sadly she's not here. So, but
there's still ways to connect.
There is.
And find that peace and have those conversations.
There is, for sure. But I feel like no one could have told me that. Nope. I had to learn it painfully, and it's not something you can read in a book. And
it's nice when people can plant the seeds, though.
Yes.
I think, a lot of people throughout my life have been seed planters.
Well, and we both come from farming backgrounds.
Yes.
So that's just a little bit of heads up there that we may use that kind of an analogy.
Yes. But it's like the seed doesn't grow until we're ready for it to grow. Like those realizations don't happen. But thank God the seeds were planted. And I feel like that's maybe part of what our show is about too. Is like we're just planting seeds of like different insights and different perspectives and like different things. And like you might not be ready to grow that seed immediately after hearing what we're sharing. But, at some point,
it's planted at some level.
That's right. And it's like, it might come in handy down the road. So my next question or my next ponder is just that, like, now that you're a grandparent and you're able to take the time and you're able to be present, me as a parent, I'm sitting here listening to you saying, yeah, but I don't want to wait till I'm a grandparent before I do that. Like, it's like, but I want to do that as a parent. Right. I want to be present as a parent. I want to be thoughtful and, like, come more from love and, like grandparents. And not every grandparent, and I'm not trying to, like, say, oh, every grandparent should be squishy and lovey and whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I had an experience where my grandparents were very loving to me.
Yeah.
And it's ironic how, like, I'm sitting here listening to you and thinking of my own grandparent. It's like, well, I don't want to wait to become a grandparent before I give my kids, like, that love and that presence and the patience. It's almost like, oh, those seeds are hitting me now, right? Like, I can work towards doing that and being that and giving that now, you know? So, but it's almost like I needed to hear that as just, like, Shannon, you don't have to wait. Like, I could start implementing it now. You can start right now. That's right. See, and I can make a damn apple pie.
That's right. And that's what's going to happen with the Thelma and Shannon show. We're going to learn something. But I think the other really important thing is that vulnerability, when you speak your truth to someone, they hear that sense of vulnerability, and it's a connection point. So you think, okay, this person is talking to me from the heart. I'm not a grandma, I'm not a parent, I'm whatever, but I hear that, and it helps it settle into your brain a little bit, because you feel that, or you may feel that I can comment honestly how that made me feel. And sometimes just getting it out there makes a difference to somebody. And just like this conversation has, and maybe we're not sophisticated enough technologically, but we need little light bulbs.
Yeah.
Do that, because
we'll just do this. Like, woo! But even when you talked about your mom, like, so not everyone is a parent, not everyone is a grandparent, but everyone is a kid of someone.
True.
Or like if your parents aren't alive anymore, but you still have regrets, or like it didn't end, you didn't find peace before they passed. Well, there's, like, even just me saying, but there's still ways. It's like, oh, you know, like, here's information for you that maybe you haven't considered before. Or even just like relationships with coworkers, relationships with siblings, relationships with friends. Like, just because we're talking about kids and grandkids, right, it's totally relevant for any relationship, right? Yeah. So, and same as like the apples in the apple pie. Like, if you just are willing to look outside the box or think outside the box a little bit, you'll be able to take the apple pie story and apply it to something in your life where you are like, well, the standard has been set so high, I don't have enough confidence in myself, I'm not even going to try. Or I tried it once and it wasn't like that.
Work, so I'm not doing it.
So I'm not going to do it again, right? And so, yeah, like, I just feel that, like, we use very simple concepts and very simple, like, start with an apple. Where the hell is that going to lead? But there's so much that can be taken from that. And that's the fun part.
It is the fun part, but the apple is the safe part.
Yep.
The apple.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
If we would have started this conversation and the title have been like, see things from grandparents' perspective that you never did as your own, with your own kids, or it's like, nobody's going to want to watch that shit. Like,
yeah, no. But apple pie is pretty much, everybody likes.
Very safe.
Well, no, not everybody likes apple pie.
No.
And
just like not everybody might, how do I say that?
might not, might
everyone might not,
buns.
And maybe not everybody's gonna like our conversation, and that's okay too. Like, it's totally okay. It's just saying that, like, hey, this simple topic took us in all these different directions, and then it's actually pertaining to life, and it's pertaining to relationships and dynamics and like standards, and there's just so many things that kind of instantly, naturally, magically snowballed, and perspectives, and like I had light bulbs. Like, I don't know if you could see, but I had light bulbs going
I did. That's why I said we need a little thing. There's got to be an app for that.
There is, but and like maybe we can put it on. There's like, remember on some settings. I don't know. Okay, no, but we're not. You know what? Let's not wreck a good thing. I know.
Yeah,
but because for now, this means light bulb.
I did a Snapchat once, and it wasn't pretty, so I don't do Snapchat.
Well, you need like a 10 to 15-year-old to be able to show you how to do that.
Well, they know how. They were helping, but it was so I'm not going.
We're simple that way. Yeah. Technologically simple.
Well, I think that what we want to be,
what we are
is not simple.
No.
We're authentic.
We're very deep, actually.
And if we can do something, we'll do it. If we can't, we'll look for help, try it out, figure out a way around it, or accept the fact that perhaps there are other people that can do that. That's right. And we'll let them do it.
That's because, like, for example, a friend of mine told me that if you go to the grocery store and buy frozen, unbaked buns, and you put them in a pan with raisins and cinnamon and butter and brown sugar, and like, she gave me the whole method. She's like, Shannon, they are delicious cinnamon buns. So I could do that. Like, right? Yeah. I'm not going to try to duplicate what's already been done, or I'm not going to try to make buns that taste exactly like my mom's or exactly like my grandma's, but there are ways of doing things that you still get good results.
I've done that. Minus the raisins.
Well, okay, Thelma.
Well, how about this? If I'm making them for you, I'll put raisins in.
Yes.
Okay.
That's perfect. Okay. And if I'm making them for you, you can pick them out.
Okay. But then they kind of have a raisin taste.
They do. Okay, so if I always like to parcel things up.
Okay.
So what do we wrap this up with? Like, I like to wrap things up and like, what is our parting message of the day?
Well, you can't always wrap life up in a neat little package, because there's always messy parts.
There are.
There's always, like, I'm probably reusing the ribbon so it doesn't stay tied, and there's all that. But I think that from our Apple concept came many themes that I don't do perfect, but I do learn. I'm capable of learning my whole life.
Look at you.
I know.
I'm just throwing you into the fire, and you're still here.
Next is stand-up comedy.
Yes.
But no, I think in seriousness, it can be wrapped up in a little package about lifelong learning.
Yes.
If something isn't working for you, figure it out. Get help. Listen. Talk to people.
I feel that, like, it's so easy to limit ourselves. Like, for me, the message in the pie and the buns is like, wow, I sure let myself limit myself, because I felt like I couldn't do it as good as my grandma and my mom. And like, as Ty, my partner's family, who makes amazing pies and all sorts of things. And it's just that, like, I really realize how much I limited myself from things I actually really, like, I love apple pie and I love cinnamon buns. And I really limited myself from experiencing them and from enjoying them, because I felt like I didn't measure up. And I felt like what I did wasn't good enough. And I wasn't willing to think outside the box and create my own and stop trying to live up, like, oh, I made buns once and they didn't turn out, so therefore, like, they turned out, but they weren't as good as da. So I therefore just threw the whole concept of making buns in the garbage. And I was like, nope, I'm only going to have them once a year. Right?
So how's that working for you?
Well, my kids are always sad because they love buns and they want homemade buns. And like, yeah, again, it's just like I could go to the store and buy buns, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
No.
And I'm not saying that I'm going to make buns from scratch, but I could go buy some kind of something and put some, like something that started and add my own love and my own effort and my own energy to it. And it would be damn near like...
And like I said, the frozen bread dough does work.
Yeah, and I know my kids would enjoy it. And you know why it works? Because you still have to put your personal touch on it.
That's right.
To get the finished product. So...
You can't wear gloves when you make.
Nope, that's right. So that's kind of like the learning for me, and the message for me is like, wow, I sure abandoned a lot of things that I actually really like and I really love, and I put a lot of limitations on myself because I felt like I couldn't do it as good as other people had done. Or I felt like, oh, I better not because that might disrespect that person if I try to make what they make.
That makes me sad.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true. We miss out on a lot of things because we don't give ourselves credit, or we feel we can't. We tried once and it didn't work. So
there's just a lot of going without when you have that mentality, I feel like. And like, I love my friend. She's always like, for God's sake, Shannon, like, it's not that hard. Just do it. Like, you don't have to be like, so it's
not rocket science.
No. Yeah. And she's like, there's other ways. Like, look it up on Pinterest, or like, look it up in a recipe. Like, Google a recipe for like easy to make, blah, blah, blah. So I love her for that, because she has always been good at calling me out on my own, like, well, I don't know, I don't want to try, and I don't know how. And she's like, for the love of God, like, just do it. Just do it. Do it. That's right. So,
well, just do it. And like I said, I think that we
stop limiting ourselves.
And so here we are, talking on Facebook. Just do it. So
that's right.
I think that's kind of my little, that is as neat in a package as I get.
That's good. And there's little droppings of raisins. The raisins didn't make it in the package, and that's totally okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, thank you, my dear, for the conversation, and thank you for tuning in, and I'm very excited for the next time that we listen to what the topic is supposed to be and share more stuff in the next episode. So, bye for now, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Take care and keep in touch.